My child, stop what you are doing right now. Yes, you. I am interrupting this moment on purpose because what I have to say cannot wait another second. This is not an accident that brought you here. This is not a random scroll through endless content. I place this message directly in front of your eyes because I have been waiting for this moment, this exact moment, to speak something into your spirit that heaven has been holding for you. And I need you to hear it with everything you have. I need you to set aside the noise, the distraction, the rushing thoughts, and simply be present with me right now. Because what I am about to tell you is going to change the way you see yourself, the way you see your story, and the way you understand every season you have walked through. You have been passed over. You have felt it. You know exactly what I am talking about. The moment someone chose someone else when it should have been you. The opportunity that went to another person while you watched from a distance wondering what was wrong with you. The relationship where you gave everything and still were not chosen. The job, the position, the recognition, the love, the belonging that seemed to find everyone around you while somehow bypassing you entirely. You smiled through it. You told yourself it was fine. You pressed on because that is what you do. But deep inside, in the quiet places you do not speak about, a question took root. A question that has been growing in the dark for longer than you would like to admit. The question that whispers in the moments when you are most honest with yourself. Why does everyone else get chosen while I keep getting left behind? My child, I need you to hear what I am about to say with every fiber of your being. You were not passed over. You were never passed over. What looked like being left behind was heaven's hand at work in ways your human eyes could not see and your human heart could not yet understand. The ones who walked away from you did not pass you over. They made room. The opportunities that closed did not reject you. They redirected you. The seasons of being unseen by others were the very seasons when heaven's attention was most intensely focused on you, preparing you, shaping you, marking you for something that the ones who left could never have been part of. You are chosen, not as a consolation, not as a second option after the first choice did not work out. You were chosen before the foundations of the world were laid, before you took your first breath, before you spoke your first word, before you made your first mistake or achieved your first success. I chose you. I set my hand upon you. I wrote your name into eternity and declared that you were mine. That choosing was not based on your performance. It was not conditional on your strength or your ability or your worthiness by human standards. It was based on my love, my sovereign will, and a purpose I designed specifically for you before time itself began. Think about that for a moment. Before the people who left you were even born, I had already chosen you. Before the rejection that broke your heart was ever spoken, I had already declared you beloved. Before the door that closed left you standing outside wondering if you would ever find your place, I had already unlocked a different door, a better door, a door that leads exactly where I always intended for you to go. The rejection was not the final word. The leaving was not the verdict. I am the final word, and my word over your life has always been chosen, always been loved, always been set apart for something greater than what you lost. But I know what the leaving did to you. I know the way it settled into your bones over time, accumulating with every disappointment, every betrayal, every moment of being overlooked until it became a belief rather than just a feeling. You began to believe there was something wrong with you, something that made you inherently less chosen than those around you, something that made you easier to leave than to stay for. And that belief, my child, that is the lie I am here to destroy today. Not soften, not manage, destroy. Because it has been living in you without permission, and it has been costing you far more than you realize. The people who left did not leave because you were not enough. They left because they were not the ones I ordained to stay. There is a profound difference between those two things, and I need you to understand it deeply. When someone leaves your life, it does not mean you were insufficient. It means they were not assigned to the chapter of your story that I am now writing. Every person who walked away, every door that closed, every season that ended, I was present in all of it. I was not absent when the betrayal happened. I was not looking away when the relationship ended. I was not silent when the rejection came. I was there, fully present, fully aware, and fully sovereign. And I allowed the leaving because I could see what you could not. I could see that what was departing was making space for what was coming. And what is coming is beyond what the leaving could have ever given you. I want to take you back to some of those moments, the ones that still sting when memory brushes against them. I want to speak into the specific places where the wound of being passed over took root, because healing requires reaching the source, not just treating the surface. Think of the earliest time you remember feeling chosen last. Perhaps it was a childhood moment, something that seemed small by adult standards but that planted a seed of doubt in your young heart about your worth and your place. You looked around and saw others being picked first, being celebrated, being wanted in ways that felt unavailable to you, and something quiet shifted inside you in that moment. A small voice whispered that perhaps being left out was your portion, that perhaps belonging was something that happened to others but not quite to you. I was there in that moment. I saw the look on your face that you quickly learned to hide. I saw the way you composed yourself and moved on, because even then you were learning that carrying the pain quietly was safer than letting it show. And I want to tell you something about that moment that you did not know then. What felt like exclusion in that moment was actually the beginning of a distinction. I was already in the process of setting you apart, not away from something good, but toward something greater. The things you were not included in were not your destiny. They were simply not your assignment. And what I was building in you through those early experiences of being outside was a depth of empathy, a richness of inner life, a capacity for understanding the pain of others that could only be formed by walking through that pain yourself. You were not damaged by those early experiences of being overlooked. You were shaped by them. The sensitivity you developed, the awareness of others who feel left out, the tenderness you carry for the lonely and the forgotten, those things did not happen by accident. They were cultivated in you through what you experienced, and they are part of the very gift I placed inside you, the thing that makes you uniquely equipped for the calling I have prepared for you. Then there were the friendships, the ones you invested in deeply, wholeheartedly, with a loyalty and a consistency that you rarely saw returned in equal measure. You showed up for people who did not show up for you. You celebrated others who never quite celebrated you. You were present in their hard seasons in ways they were not present in yours. And when those friendships shifted, when people moved on or drifted away or chose others over you, the hurt went deep because your investment had been genuine. You were not performing friendship. You were actually committed. And the asymmetry of that commitment, the way your loyalty was not matched, left you questioning whether there was something about you that made sustained, mutual love difficult to find. My child, hear me clearly. The depth of your loyalty was not a flaw. It was a gift. The fact that you loved people fully and faithfully even when they could not offer the same in return was not a weakness. It was a reflection of my own nature in you. I love with a love that is not contingent on being matched. I give with a generosity that does not calculate return. And when I placed those qualities in you, I was not setting you up for exploitation. I was forming in you the character of someone who can be trusted with the kind of relationships and assignments I have prepared for your next season. The people who could not meet your loyalty were never meant to be your long-term companions. They were passing through your story, receiving what you offered, and making space for the ones I have appointed to walk alongside you in the chapters ahead. And there were the relationships that hurt most. The ones where your heart was fully given and fully rejected, where you loved someone who chose another, where you offered yourself completely and what came back was not reciprocation but disappointment, betrayal, or simply the cold silence of being left. Those wounds did not just hurt the heart. They reached into the deepest place of your identity and whispered the most damaging question of all. Am I lovable? Not just am I liked, but am I actually lovable at the core of who I am? Is there something about me that makes love difficult to give and easy to withdraw? I answer that question now with all the authority of heaven behind my voice. You are deeply, completely, unconditionally lovable, not because of what you offer or how you perform or what you bring to a relationship. You are lovable because I made you, because I designed you, because I breathed my own life into you and declared you good. The people who could not love you well were not giving an accurate report on your lovability. They were simply revealing the limitations of what they had to give. And those limitations were theirs, not yours. You did not fail to be lovable. They failed to see clearly. And I will not allow the partial vision of human beings to define what I declared about you before time began. Now I must speak to the seasons of professional and purposeful rejection. The times when you pursued something with everything you had, prepared thoroughly, showed up faithfully, and still did not get the outcome you were working toward. The opportunity went to someone else. The promotion was given to another. The dream you carried was not recognized or supported in the ways you hoped. And the temptation in those moments was to conclude that you were not good enough, not talented enough, not favored enough to achieve the things you believed you were called to. The enemy used those moments relentlessly, pointing to every closed door as evidence that your hope was misplaced and your calling was an illusion. But I tell you the truth now. Every door that closed was closing because it was not your door. The opportunity that went elsewhere was not your opportunity. The path that was blocked because my plan for you runs through a different landscape entirely. I do not make mistakes about who receives what. I do not misplace my assignments. I do not accidentally overlook the ones I have chosen. When doors closed in your face, it was not because I was absent. It was because I was directing, guiding you away from what would have satisfied in the short term, but limited you in the long term. Protecting you from positions and places and people that looked like your destination, but were actually detours from it. Think of Joseph. He was his father's chosen one, and his brothers hated him for it. They stripped him of the coat that was the symbol of his favor and threw him into a pit. They sold him into slavery and told their father he was dead. To every human eye, to every logical assessment of the situation, Joseph had been passed over in the most devastating possible way. His brothers had chosen betrayal over brotherhood. Potiphar's wife had chosen accusation over truth. The cupbearer had chosen forgetfulness over gratitude. Again and again, the choice of others left Joseph in a worse position than the one before. Prison after the pit, continued imprisonment after faithful service. By every outward measure, this was a man being consistently passed over, consistently left behind, consistently overlooked. But I was with Joseph in the pit. I was with Joseph in Potiphar's house. I was with Joseph in the prison. And what looked like being passed over was actually a process of being positioned. Every descent was leading to an ascent. Every closed door was a corridor to a greater opening. Every moment of being overlooked by human eyes was a moment of being seen and shaped by mine. And when the moment came for Joseph to stand before Pharaoh, everything he had endured in the hidden seasons had made him exactly the person needed for the assignment that would save generations. He was not passed over. He was being prepared for something that the ones who rejected him could never have given him access to. Your story is not so different. The ones who left you, the doors that closed, the seasons of rejection and overlooking and being chosen last, they were not evidence that you were forgotten. They were the hidden preparation for an assignment that the shallow seasons could never have equipped you to carry. You are not less than the ones who seem to be chosen first. You are being readied for something that requires the depth only your journey could produce. And now, I must speak about what heaven chose you for, because I did not simply choose you in a general abstract sense. I chose you for specific things. There is a purpose written in my book with your name on it that no one else can fulfill, not because others are less capable in a general sense, but because the particular combination of gifts, experiences, wounds, perspectives, and depth that exists in you is uniquely suited to an assignment that I designed with you specifically in mind. The very things that made you feel like you did not fit in the places you tried to belong were actually indicators that you were made for a different kind of place entirely. The sensitivity that made you feel too much in environments that valued feeling less. The depth that made you seem intense in circles that stayed shallow. The loyalty that seemed excessive to people who lived lightly. The faith that others found impractical. The compassion that some called naive. These were not flaws in your design. They were features. They were the marks of someone made for a particular kind of work in a particular kind of place that required exactly those qualities to function well. You have been trying to fit into spaces that were not designed for you, and the discomfort of that misfit. The constant sense of being slightly out of place, slightly too much or not quite enough, was not evidence that something was wrong with you. It was evidence that you were in the wrong space. My choosing of you was always meant to lead you somewhere that fits. Somewhere that your qualities are not burdens to be managed, but gifts to be celebrated. Somewhere that your depth is welcomed rather than tolerated. Somewhere that your presence is not an inconvenience, but an answer to a need that had been waiting for you to arrive. That place exists. Those people exist. That assignment exists. And the reason it has taken this long to find it is partly because I was still forming you through the seasons that felt like rejection, and partly because the timing of heaven is not governed by the urgency of your pain, but by the perfection of my plan. I do not run early and I do not run late. I am always precisely on time, and your time is coming. It is not a distant someday, it is near. Near enough that you need to begin preparing your heart to receive it, rather than bracing for another disappointment. I am asking you to shift something today. I am asking you to shift the story you have been telling yourself about what the rejections mean. Because the story you tell yourself about your past determines the posture you carry into your future. If the story you have been telling yourself is that you are someone who gets passed over, someone who is fundamentally less chosen than others, someone who always ends up on the outside looking in, then that story will shape how you approach every new opportunity, every new relationship, every new door. You will approach them already half expecting to be turned away, already guarded, already prepared for the disappointment you have come to expect. I am asking you to replace that story with the true one. The true story is this. You are someone who has been hidden in the hands of God while being prepared for an assignment that required everything you went through to make you ready to carry it. You are someone who has been walking through the formation process that precedes the greatest seasons of fruitfulness in your life. You are someone whose best chapters have not been written yet. You are someone who was chosen before time began by a God who does not make mistakes and does not change his mind and has never once reconsidered the decision to call you his own. That is the true story. And I need you to begin living from it rather than from the false one that your pain has been narrating. Now I want to speak about the ones who left. Because some of you are still carrying grief over specific people whose departure from your life felt like the most personal form of rejection. People you loved who chose to walk away. People who were supposed to stay and did not. People whose leaving changed the shape of your life in ways you are still recovering from. And I want to speak tenderly but truthfully into that grief. I know who they were. I know what they meant to you. I know the investment you made and the hopes you carried and the future you had imagined that included their presence. I know the specific texture of that loss and I do not minimize it. It was real. The grief was real. The wound was real. But the leaving, as painful as it was not evidence that you were unworthy of being stayed for. It was evidence that their chapter in your story had ended, and that clinging to them beyond that ending would have cost you more than the leaving did. There are people who are meant to be in your life for a season, and people who are meant to be in your life for a reason, and people who are meant to be in your life for a lifetime. And the greatest damage is not done by the seasonal ones leaving. It is done when you spend the energy meant for your lifetime people grieving the departure of the seasonal ones. I allowed those departures not to devastate you, but to free you. To clear the space in your life and your heart for the ones who are coming. The ones who are appointed to walk with you into the fullness of what I have prepared. The ones who left could not go with you where I am taking you. Not because they were bad people necessarily, but because they were not built for the terrain of your next season. The road ahead of you requires companions of a particular kind. People of depth and faith and genuine commitment. People who can carry the weight of real covenant. People who will be strengthened by your strength rather than threatened by it. Those people are coming. Some of them are already near, waiting to be recognized. And the departures that felt like loss were the clearing of the path for their arrival. I want you to release the ones who left. Not because their leaving did not matter. Not because the grief is not real. But because holding on to what was meant to pass is keeping your hands from being open to receive what I am bringing. Release them to me. Trust me with the justice of what happened. Trust me with the healing of what broke. Trust me with the filling of what emptied. I am more than capable of restoring what was taken and more than faithful in my commitment to bring into your life what your heart has been searching for. And now, my child, I must speak to your future with the clarity and the boldness that this moment deserves. Because we have spent time in the past, naming what happened and speaking truth into the wounds that the leaving created. But I did not bring you to this moment only to comfort you about yesterday. I brought you here to awaken you to what is ahead, to open your eyes to the horizon that your grief has been blocking from view, to remind you that the same God who was with you in every dark season is the God who is now opening the door into your brightest chapter. What is coming for you is not a consolation prize for what you lost. It is not a smaller version of what others received because you had to wait longer. What is coming for you is greater than what departed, greater than what closed, greater than what was taken. I do not compensate with lesser things. When I restore, I exceed the original. When I open a door, it is wider than the one that closed. When I send people into your life, they carry greater depth and greater faithfulness than the ones who walked away. When I release provision, it overflows the measure of what was withheld. This is my nature. This is how I work. And this is what I am releasing over your life in this season. The doors that no human hand can open are beginning to move. I am creating pathways in places that looked like walls. I am releasing connections that carry divine assignment, not just human preference. I am aligning your steps with the places and the people and the opportunities that have been set aside specifically for you in this season. You did not miss your moment. Your moment has not passed. Your moment is not behind you in the seasons of rejection and loss. Your moment is ahead, and it is arriving now. Begin to prepare your heart for it. Begin to shift your expectation from bracing against another disappointment to opening toward what I am bringing. Begin to speak differently over your own life. Begin to agree with what I have always said about you rather than with what the leaving seemed to imply. You are chosen. You are wanted. You are set apart. You are loved with a love that does not waver and does not withdraw and does not reconsider. You are the one I handpicked before time began for an assignment that only you can carry. The people who left were not your definition. The closed doors were not your verdict. The seasons of being overlooked were not your identity. I am your definition. My word is your verdict. My choosing of you before you were born is your identity. And no amount of human rejection, no matter how painful, no matter how repeated, no matter how deeply it settled into your belief about yourself, can change what I declared over you in eternity. You are not what the leaving said you were. You are what I say you are. And I say you are chosen. I say you are loved. I say you are set apart. I say you are my treasure, my beloved, my child in whom I delight. I say your story is not finished. I say your best seasons are not behind you. I say the fullness of what I created you for is still ahead, still unfolding, still being released into your life one faithful step at a time. So lift your head, my child. Lift your eyes from the ground of past rejection and look toward the horizon of what I am now doing. The ones who left made room. The doors that closed were redirections. The seasons of hiddenness were preparation, and now the preparation is meeting its moment. Now, what I have been forming in you through every difficult season is ready to be released into the world for the purpose I always had in mind. Now the chosen one steps into what being chosen was always meant to produce. You are not too late. You are not too broken. You are not too far behind the ones who seemed to be chosen first. You are exactly where I need you to be, shaped by exactly what I allowed, ready for exactly what I am releasing. Walk forward. Walk in the truth of who I say you are. Walk as the chosen one, because that is exactly what you are and what you have always been. Heaven chose you. Before the world knew your name, heaven chose you, and nothing that has happened since that choosing. Not the betrayals, not the departures, not the rejections, not the closed doors, not the long seasons of waiting and wondering and carrying the grief of being passed over. Nothing has changed that choosing. It stands, it is permanent, it is yours, and it is enough to walk on for the rest of your days. Type Amen if you receive this word today. Share this with someone who has been carrying the wound of being passed over. They need to hear what heaven has always said about them. They need to know they were never passed over. They were always chosen.